Hello and welcome or welcome back. Today we're just going to be playing some more Killing Floor 2 and just talking about stuff. So, yeah, I'll stop rambling and we'll get right into it. Thank y'all for chilling, by the way, as always. Oh, no! Oh, shit. There's lots of areas to get cornered here. I don't know where I am right now. I haven't played much Team Fortress 2. I play, like, some. I've played some, not a lot. We played it one night in the Discord. I am miserably bad, but I'm just like, all right, let's just do something fun, right? I'm not here to like play competitive. Ooh, and I got a buddy Mute in the Discord. He creates content every now and then. He creates some TF2 content and some Hunt Showdown every now and then. He should get back on that because he's pretty good. Check him out. I'm actually Mute, one word. Maybe I'll put his channel in the description. But I've been like, come on, bro. Those Hunt Showdown videos are good. His Team Fortress 2 videos are good too. Yeah.
Mission begins in 60 seconds.
But anyway, I watched another movie last night. Yeah. Nice. I'm hitting I'm hitting the dodge button. It ain't gonna work. It ain't gonna work. Oh shit. But yeah, no, I watched Daybreakers last night. I don't know if you guys watched that movie or have seen that movie, but it's a good one. It's the one with when the vampires like take over the world, kinda. I know, right? There's probably a couple movies like that. It's got Ethan Hawke and Willem Dafoe in it. Heh. I hit the dodge again. It doesn't work. Yeah, that one's pretty good. It's like it's zombies. It's like vampires like take over the world, right? And then like the humans are starting to kind of go extinct. So now they're starting to like get affected by it because then they lost their food source. And yeah, now they're all starting to get all messed up. I guess I'll talk about that in a second here. Well, the movie starts. It's like a probably like a 12 or 13-year-old girl. I don't know. She's a vampire, right? And it's about daytime. It's the sun's about to come up, and she's about to like end it because she can't stand it. And then like through writings that you see right before it happens, it's because she doesn't age. Once you get bit, once you change, you don't age. You stay the same. So, and it's kind of funny because when it moves forward in the movie, like probably 5 minutes later, you see Ethan Hawke. He's going to work, and he's all kind of looking a little messed up, looking a little worn out. But he looks over and he sees like a group of like what would be like a bunch of like I guess hoodlums, like teenage, early 20 hoodlums, but they're all kids. Oh, I'm giving her, I pierced her ears. Oh, and I gave her a haircut. What the hell is this? I am so bad at KF2 now. I never was like amazing, but come on. There's no point of that. But yeah, you see that, and then like he's working, he's like a blood doctor for like a pharmaceutical company or something like that. They're the ones that like they have like a task force team to go and collect humans, and then these guys, I guess, like drain them and make them into food, right? But then part of his job is to find a substitute, because if they don't eat for so long, they turn into what's called subsiders. That's why Ethan Hawke's looking a little messed up, because he's protesting. He doesn't want to kill humans no more. Yeah, what happens when they start to turn feral? And you see it with a homeless man, like he's hungry, needs blood, right? And then he's like seemingly
4, 3, 2, 1.
And these seemingly affluent. I had to wait for that fucking bitch to stop. These seemingly affluent like zombies, they're well off, rich. They walk past and ignore him, and he kind of, goes animalistic a little bit. He doesn't attack them, but then he gets taken by the cops, and like it kind of just shows you where it starts, right? They end up turning into like these feral bat creatures, and I don't know. It's kind of neat, I guess. I don't know. I can't remember. I was gonna research this, and I can't remember that if it's a graphic, if it comes from like a graphic novel or comic book or something or any piece of media, I'll put it on screen right now, yes or no. But I think it is. I think it's off of like a graphic novel, Daybreakers. I'm not sure though. I remember there was a time where it felt like a lot of movies that, oh my god, that was the case with a lot of movies. I forget about those. And I still have terrible aim. That's what I wanted. That's all I wanted from the crossbow. Let's see, where was I? Yep, smoke more pot, lurker. That'll totally make the videos better. I mean, it's not really that important. So, like... Ooh, fuck me, man. I'm, like, awful. I never said I was good at these games. I just make content on them. Okay. That's what we do when we just are done with it. Yeah, you see, like, even in, like, a, You see in, like, a,
4, 3, 2, 1.
And just like a scene where you see in a scene where he's having like a meeting with his boss. I think this might be where I was getting at. And he like passes up. They put blood in their coffee and shit. You know, like it's that kind of thing. That's all they eat that's all they consume is human blood. Otherwise they get all effed up. But like he'll pass on that. Like he's having coffee, you know, with his boss, and he doesn't drink it. You know, it's obviously got blood in it, and like I don't know. Like he's against it at this point. He never wanted to be a vampire to begin with. His brother, I'll just say this now, his brother changed him, you find out, and he did it because he was afraid for him, you know, like he was going to die, because, I mean, he was right, everybody's pretty much dead. Being a human in that world is, like, utter shit. But, yeah, no, like, they show that he's against it, and then there's a point, like, he's on his way home, and he's kind of turning, right? His ears are starting to get pointed, so he's like noticing that his body is physically changing from not drinking blood. And then he runs these humans off the road. 1 second. Oh no, I have these demo weapons, and I think dynamite. Let's stun him, and then shoot him a few times. Yeah, he runs these humans off the road on accident, and they freak out right away, and they shoot him in the arm with a crossbow. That's like the main weapon in that world, I guess, for the humans. I mean, they shoot I keep wanting to say zombie, vampire, like in the sweet spot, and they just explode like dynamite. It's pretty impressive. But they're just in the ground. But then like he helps them because the cops are coming. They crash into like they just crash, whatever, both of them do, and the cops come right away. But he helps them. You know, he puts them in the car, and there's like day mode and night modes in those cars, so they can, you know, drive in the day with a blacked out car with cameras all over so they can see. You know, it's kind of a neat concept. You find out Willem Dafoe is in this movie, and he was a mechanic that like started that stuff. It's pretty good. He's like the best character. It's a little hammy, but I fucking love it. Like he's one of my favorite actors. But and then, like, after that, his brother comes by, and his brother's, like, in the military, and he's, like, you know, there's a part later on where he like, the guy's boss is saying, you know, do you like being a vampire, or something like that, and he's like, I'm good at this, I wasn't good at being alive, and I'm just like, I totally get that. I totally get that. Or being human, rather. I was like, I totally understand that one, man. But, oh, shit. Oh, there's more. Of course there's more. I didn't know that they were right on my balls. Yeah, but he goes to have a drink with them, and a drink is, you know, pure human blood because the dude's military, and that's the perks of being in the military, right? And so they fight about it. You know, Ethan Hawke, he dumps it down the drain, and then, like, his brother freaks out and throws it across the room, and then a subsider comes in. And just kind of like you get to see it up close, see what it's capable of, and they fight it. It's not that big of a deal. Like it goes crazy over the blood. It goes to attack him, knocks the brother down and out for a second until Ethan gets him up, and then the vampire like goes up on the ceiling for some reason, upside down, thinking that that's going to be a better position, which is probably worse. And the soldier boy just takes the knife, takes a butcher or chef knife and just, kind of gets him like a pig, gets the arteries. That's what it reminded me of. It reminded me of Gangs of New York with Daniel Day-Lewis. Yeah, but then after that, Ethan Hawke, he's at home, and that girl shows up at his house, gets the drop on him in the dark, which I thought was funny. The vampire gets the drop, I don't know, whatever, but she just wants help, and since he's a blood doctor and he's like good at what he does in his field, right? That he can be beneficial. Like they're starting like an uprising kind of thing. They got a handful of humans, they got a handful of vampires, and like a couple of politicians in the mix. Trying to get human rights and stuff like that. While the villain just kind of the head honcho guy just kind of wants the humans to repopulate a little bit so the vampires don't ultimately die off. And starve and eat each other, because that's what happens with the subsiders. Is they just like eat themselves and they eat each other. They go mad with hunger, and then they poison themselves essentially. But yeah, you learn that the guy has a daughter. The bad guy has a daughter, and she didn't want to turn. He only turned because he was dying. He had cancer or something, and it gave him a second chance. And then he took advantage. Became like this big, heartless, whatever, soulless guy. Oh shit! Do I still got that? Yes, I do. And so she's just like, she's a rebel now, because obviously humans are being wrangled up and shit. So, she ends up kind of like meeting up with the same human group, right? And I'm kind of gonna like mix this up a little bit towards the end here because I don't know how much time I'm gonna. It sucks, but anyway, she takes him to meet Willem Dafoe, and he is an ex-vampire. Well, they went to meet him, and he kind of reveals how he got cured, and because before that there was no cure. So what happened is he like I said, he helped to develop those day driving cars, and hold on, maybe this will look better. Those day driving cars, and like he was test driving it during the day one day, and he like was going hungry, so he was starting to lose it a little bit, and he wasn't paying attention, and he crashed. Well, he crashed into like a lake, into like a shaded area. So he went through the windshield, caught on fire in the sun, and then went into the water in the shade, and that jump started his system again, and he was a human. So they want to recreate that again, and Ethan Hawke is a volunteer. So I can't remember if it was before or after this, but they go to the hideout, which is like a old, what would you call it? Like a winery, I think. And that's where like the humans are getting their things together. You meet this vampire senator or something like that. So he's like the highest profile character that you would see, like the most connected in the government. So what they do for the experiment is they take this wine fermentation tank, which is like, it's airtight, and it has like a fan and all this other stuff in it. And then what it is they're gonna set him on fire with like a soaking wet blanket or something like that on him, and then suck the water out or suck the air out rather, to kill the flames. You know what I mean? So they do this a couple of times, and it jumpstarts his heart. Like, it's kind of a goofy scene, but it works. Like this movie is kind of like weird in that sense. It's kind of goofy, but it all just kind of works in a fun sense. It's kind of a serious movie, but I've always enjoyed it. The first time I saw it, I instantly enjoyed it. Years ago when it first came out. But anyway, so he's cured, and I guess after that the movie kind of just starts ending, right? Like, I guess starts going on its downward, winding down phase or whatever. Well, the daughter gets kidnapped with the group, right? So then the dad gets her, and he tries convincing her. I mean, I think he's like trying to convince her to change into a vampire. She doesn't want anything to do with it. So she gets old boy's brother to go in there, because he ends up becoming like a lapdog after Ethan Hawke kind of turns on him, right? So he gets the brother, who's still loyal, to change his daughter. Well, she didn't like it. So she started just instantly, like, I guess, doing all the wrong things, like feeding on herself and stuff like that. And she turns into a subsider. And during all that, the blood epidemic is so bad that people are attacking vendors and stuff like that for more blood, and it's just becoming bad. And so what they're doing is they're just going to get rid of all the round up all the subsiders, and put them drag them all into the sun. And well, the dude's brother, he's there because he's in the military. The military, they're like ushering all of them into the sunlight, kind of. And he sees her there, all fucked up, all and he just starts feeling terrible because he's just like, I mean, he felt conflicted the whole time. You can tell he was just kind of doing what he needed to do to survive, what he felt he needed to do to survive. But anyway, that after that, there's a scene where they're getting away from some military guys, the humans, Ethan Hawke and Willem Dafoe. And at one point, the chick gets kidnapped. I'm kind of breezing through it. Like I always say, I kind of want you guys to watch these movies too, because they're good. This one's on Paramount. But they run away. I didn't know I can come up here. They get away from the main bulk of them. Well, they get caught up by one, and that happens to be the guy's brother. And it's just Willem Dafoe and Ethan Hawke. And the brother saves them from a subsider attack. And he's conflicted. He ends up submitting. He's broken down. He's hungry. He's turning. So as the brother's yielding or submitting or whatever, he looks at Defoe's neck and attacks, and bites him. But it's only for a second. But he gets enough blood, right? And then you learn that what the cure is cured vampire blood. So Ethan Hawke and Willem Dafoe's blood is the cure. So what ends up happening is Ethan Hawke just goes to the building where the boss is, and it's real danger for a human to go there. Well, he goes there and gets a meeting with the boss as the boss is draining the woman that they were with. And what ends up happening is he's like, I want to be a vampire again. I'm scared. Yada yada. He's just trying to goad him into biting him. Well, when that doesn't work, because the dude's like, oh, we got it figured out. We have a cure at hand. We already have a cure. We don't need you anymore. And so what ends up happening is then he just goats him on, saying oh, you couldn't even change your daughter. My brother had to change your daughter for you because you're a coward. And then the guy gets pissed, bites him, turns into a human, and then obviously, excuse me, obviously that's just a total change. So what they do is they put him in a chair and tie him up and send him down in the elevator to all the waiting vampire soldiers that proceed to rip the guy to shreds in a scene that's reminiscent of Day of the Dead. The choke on him scene from Day of the Dead. I mean, it's pretty good. It's not as good, but I'm pretty sure that it was that was its inspiration. But and that guy's a famous actor too. So if I remember, I'll put a picture of him. I can't remember. He's been in some movies we've all seen. But so what ends up ensuing is pretty much one of the more iconic scenes, I guess, in to me in that genre of movie, where it's just kind of like a cycle, right? Those freshly turned. Well, what ends up happening? Hold on. What ends up happening is then Ethan Hawke gets there. They get there and they see all the soldiers there and they're hungry. They take out some and then a bunch more come, right? So the brother ends up sacrificing himself, and then what ends up happening is a cycle of these one group of vampires tearing him apart. They turn into human, and then a bunch of vampires, and then more vampires attack them, and then they turn human. But there's a scene where it's slow motion, everybody's just getting chewed apart. It's pretty wicked. It's pretty good. And then in the meantime, oh yeah, how the chick got kidnapped is they went to his co-worker's place, to try and get him on their side. But he's just a greedy guy. He helped develop the cure, so he just wants the money, So he ends up turning them in, and then that's how the girl gets kidnapped. That's what it is. But then that's kind of it. After all that, yeah, I mean, Willem Dafoe saves them from the co-worker, and then that's pretty much it. They have the cure. I know I left out some things, and but
Mission begins in 30 seconds.
that's just kind of the way it is. You guys should go and watch it. And I don't know. You've probably already seen it too. I think it came out in 2012. I want to say it was a pretty
Mission
decent year
begins
for
in
movies,
20
like that era.
seconds.
That era. Got King Flesh Pound. All right, we played this game the other night in the Discord, and we got wrecked by the King Flesh Pound. There was like this half circle snow map that is open on the inside, like you can fall off. And yeah, you already knew he was gonna yeet everybody off the edge, or just run through everyone. I keep spamming fucking shift, thinking I'm gonna dodge. All right, where's your thingy? Yeah. We'll finish you off with the other one. Why the hell not? Or from flashbangs? Can I finish them off with black? Yeah, motherfucker. Yeah. Thank you. Thank you very much. Well, if you stuck around this long, I really appreciate you. Yeah, I don't know. Have you seen Daybreakers? What's your favorite, like, vampire movie? I don't know. I kind of like that genre. I haven't really touched it in a little while, other than, like, the Blade movies, but I think I did talk about those not too long ago. I can't remember. It's been a while. But, yeah, anyway, I'll stop ranting and rambling and let you get on with your day or night. If you would just please consider doing all the things that YouTube likes and that I appreciate very, very much. Thank you so much for hanging out. It really does mean the world to me. You have a good one, and I will catch you on the next one.